Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 3,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 100 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
Hello, friends. This is Spencer Love, your host of Over the Top Rope on the Win Column Sports Network. Don't forget you can head to wincolumnsports.ca for all of your previews, reviews, and breaking news from the world of wrestling, be it your major promotions or from the great province of Alberta, Canada.
Awesome!
This is your main man RJ from the Ringside Rant, heard only on the Visionaries Wrestling Network. So go over and subscribe across all your major platforms, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher to hear every great interview I have every Monday on the Visionaries Wrestling Network. Go over and follow the show's page on Twitter @_Ringside Rant. Follow the network's page @BizWrestleNet. And, as always, embrace the vision.
If you like podcasts and you are listening to on Backbreaker Media, then you should listen to me, Chris Parrish,
and myself, Manoia,
and the Sounds of Struggle, because we are literally the most entertaining duo you'll ever come across in Western Canadian wrestling, baby.
We talk about things like wrestling
and other sports we like.
Wrestling,
but we won't talk about other sports that we don't like, because it's not that kind of podcast.
Like wrestling?
I mean, we like hockey.
And wrestling.
And we like football.
And wrestling.
And we also like to drink beer.
While wrestling.
Well, not while wrestling, but while watching wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to get into a conversation with Maniac and Chris Parrish, then you need to tune into the Sounds of Struggle live on Backbreaker Media.
Every Thursday.
It's when we hope to drop, but sometimes Mike Malawany doesn't do his job right.
Or we're too drunk to forget.
Yeah, that happens too.
Yeah.
He can bleep out the swear word, because we weren't supposed to do that.
Oh,
but
I'll try not to swear. I can't do it.
Yeah. Let's face it, the two of us, we're real.
And spectacular.
And we're a little bit of all right.
Yeah.
We're also strugglicious.
That we are.
That was kind of the key. It's supposed to be a strugglicious.
Oh, sorry, I'm drunk.
Yeah. So, if you don't want to listen to us, then no. You're stupid, because we're entertaining. And if you want to listen to us, then come listen to us on Backbreaker Media.
Yeah.
Later,
Reset.
Later, bitches.
Howdy guys, this is Kyle Shaw, and I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode of Monday Night Shaw. My guest this week is Andre C. Andre used to be the ring announcer for RCW before I took over the duties, so I figured it would be cool to have him on. He's a buddy of mine. He also is the current ring announcer for Canadian Wrestling Elite when they do their shows in St. Albert. He's got a lot of talent as a ring announcer. Like I say, I learned a lot watching him do what he does before I ended up doing what I do. Andre is also involved in a bunch of other podcasts. My actual first podcast that I ever was on was Andre's podcast, Total Nonstop Anarchy, and we reviewed a absolutely terrible World Wrestling All-Stars show. And it was not a good show, but I do appreciate the fact that Andre had me on his podcast and is planning to do so again in the future. Andre's also on Quick Calls quite a bit, and he's recently been on a podcast called Remembering the Game that I've been listening to quite regularly, especially I work at the 7-Eleven at Castle Downs there, So I do night shift, and all there is to do at night pretty much is clean and listen to podcasts. So I've been listening to a lot of Remember the Game, a lot of Backbreaker Media, and a lot of Two Baked Hams. I want to give a shout out to Jonah and Mike, and say thank you for all the positive things you've had to say about me on your podcast, and for mentioning me on your podcast there for the last few episodes. It would be pretty cool to podcast with you boys, whether it be on your turf or on mine. So we'll work on that and get that arranged for the near future. Yeah, a lot of people I would like to have on. I am about to take an excursion. I'm going out to Victoria. Like I mentioned in this episode, my Auntie Leanne, she died this week. She was a huge part of my life. When I was a kid, I kind of bounced around and was like staying in different homes and stuff. I stayed with my dad for a while. I stayed with my mom for a while, my grandma. But one of the places I stayed was with my Auntie Leanne, and I stayed there for well over a year, I would imagine, and I was always 100% welcome with open arms. Like, I could phone her out of the blue. In fact, I did phone her out of the blue one time. I had been living in Alberta for a while, like a few years, and decided I wanted to move back to BC, and the only thing I knew to do was to phone Auntie Leanne and say, hey, would it be alright if I came and moved in? I really can't afford to pay any rent at this time, but, once I get some money, I'll definitely help you out or whatnot, right? And anyway, Auntie Leanne, of course, was like, well, let me talk it over with your uncle, right? And yeah, she phoned me back in like 5 minutes, and they were like, yeah, of course, come on, move back to Victoria, come on, stay at our house. And so like Auntie Leanne, honestly, he was like a second mother to me. Definitely was the closest of all my aunts as a kid, for sure. And I'm gonna miss her tremendously, but like I say, she lived in Victoria, BC with the rest of my family, so I'm going out there for the funeral. And I don't know, I might try and line up a wrestling podcast while I'm out there, maybe with Vid Vane if he's in town and available, or maybe somebody else from Victoria. I don't know. Yeah, but if there isn't a podcast for a week or two coming up, that would be the reason why. Anyway, like I say, I am just getting ready right now because RCW Holiday Chaos is tonight. I recorded the podcast with Andre a couple of days ago, and tonight's the night. Always look forward to these Christmas shows. There's going to be some crazy straight-up anarchy on this show. Lots of good stuff. I mean, Son of Hawks versus or Son of Irish versus Andrew Hawks is probably going to be pretty amazing. Yeah. The Holiday Havoc match, I don't even know what that is right now. It's kind of still up in the air. I know it's mentioned in the podcast that it's a multi-man ladder match, but I think there was maybe some logistical issues at the hall about the ability to hang anything from the ceiling. We're not sure if we can actually do that, so that may end up being changed. But anyway, the show will have already happened by the time you hear this, so there's not much point in me going and giving you a rundown. Check out Andre's episode of Quick Calls for that. And check out Andre's episode of Monday Night Shaw right here, right now. Thanks for listening. Talk to you in 2 weeks. Okie dokie, folks. This is Kyle Shaw, your friendly neighborhood ring announcer from RCW Wrestling. And joining me today on the podcast is Andre C. Andre is a former ring announcer for RCW. The last show that I did not ring announce on for RCW was the War Games show in Edmonton last year, and Andre was the ring announcer for that show. So, thank you for coming on the show today, Andre.
Always glad to, buddy. Always glad to.
Yeah.
I'll do anybody's podcast. I'm that big of a mark for myself.
No, I'm like I say, I'm real happy you're here and that you came and agreed to do the podcast. I'm one of the things when I first announced that I wanted to do a podcast, you were like one of the first people that was like, "Hey, I'll come on anytime."
That's what I do. I support anybody's podcast. Like it's what it is about. Is hey, you support everybody. Like I support. We call them sports. We support everybody, man. Like. Yeah, man.
Spencer. I mean, I haven't met anyone else from Win Column aside from Spencer.
Him and Hayden are the only two I know.
But Spencer's he seems like a really cool guy.
Oh yeah, and it's all about building. You support them, they support you. That's what I find, and like especially since we're within the same network of each other too on Backbreaker Media. I'm definitely gonna help. I'm definitely willing to support you for sure.
Well, yeah, like I just actually listened to the interview between Spencer and Strife.
Oh, I haven't gotten to
Win Column.
The last one I listened to of his was the MRB interview. I still haven't gotten around to the Strife interview yet. So
I have not listened to the
that actually came out a couple days before the Strife interview.
Oh, yeah. Like I say, I haven't listened to the one with MRB, but I listened to the one with Strife, of course. He actually calls out Leo London.
Oh, that guy's awesome.
Yeah?
I love that guy. I've met that guy, I think, 2 or 3 times now. Him coming to Edmonton, and actually twice at Edmonton, once in Red Deer. I think he's a phenomenal wrestler myself.
I believe, I think I've met him in Red Deer. Probably when I was just a sound guy. I don't think I've ever introduced him.
Yeah, I think he worked on our RCW show down there too, yeah. I know, because I also remember I also saw him at the CWC show down there.
Oh, Leo London.
Yeah, I did it. Actually, to promote Backbreaker Media again,
shout out to Backbreaker Media. Shout out to Mike the Ref. Thank you again for not only hosting the show, but supplying the recording equipment.
They just put out a DVD for the first edition of the CWC Evolution, the show Mike and them produced, and he put out that it's on there. Leo London and Alex Vanna in a tag team match against I think Dylan Stone and T.S. Cutler.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good DVD. If you can find it, check. When you're at a CWC show, buy it. But it's supporting everybody, and I don't, not the biggest fan of taking shots, but I do every now and again, especially when it comes to Squig.
Oh, okay. I was like, who are you going to shoot on now?
No, I'm not going to shoot on anybody.
So, when was the first time you ever ring announced?
2015 or 2015 or 16, somewhere in there. I did a show. It was in this little tiny Statler. Was it Statler? I think it was Statler. I went to Statler, and Andre Corbeil was still ring announcers. I think it was like 2015.
This is for RCW?
Yeah, for RCW. And I think it was Corbeil was still ring announcing at that point.
Yeah, shout out to Andre Corbeil, who actually has come to a few of our shows in Calgary recently.
Shout out to that
I don't know him well. I don't know him well.
Too well at this point.
But I don't have a problem with him.
You're in a smaller group. I don't got a problem with him, but I don't have a problem with the guy. Let's say that. But we were going to Stadler. Squig had, because Corbeil wasn't supposed to show up for that show. And then dude randomly showed up because Squig brought me out to ring announce because I said I was interested in it.
Yeah.
And then, so Corbeil showed up randomly, so me and Corbeil split the duties. And the best thing about that show was I got to ring announce 2 of the 5 matches. And the second one I did was my favorite because it was MRB, my favorite wrestler in the world, taking on Rene Dupree.
Okay.
So that was just so cool to be able... Like, for one, announcing Rene Dupree, who's
your first night in, you're announcing a former WWE.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. That was huge, but for me, it was announcing MRB because I've been a fan of that guy for, since I started going to PWA back in 2009. That,
like 2009.
2009, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did go to RCW before that though. but he's like probably one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. And
MRB?
yeah.
Oh, I don't blame him, man. He's awesome.
Like I would take watching an MRB match over watching anybody in the Fed at this point, right? Like
unless it happens to be an MRB match where MRB is wrestling in the Fed.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. Like,
hey,
here's the thing. This is just like a story, and I don't want to sound like prejudiced or anything like that. But I was over at Knight's Pub where we do our after parties, and Vic, who is Steven Styles' dad, walked in, and we got to talking about MRB being on 205 Live, wrestling against Hideo Itami.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to give you an exact quote from Vic. This is not me saying this. He said, Vic said, the WWF must have told MRB not to do anything because he would have kicked the shit out of that Chinaman.
Hey, oh my God. The thing is, I truly believe that Vic said that. And in those exact words, too. I love that guy, but I can easily believe that.
Yeah,
no, but
it
like,
was amazing.
And to get to announce Randy Pre, and the best part about this, the ceiling was so low in this place. Like you gotta MRB got on the second rope and went to lift and went to stand up, and his head kind of touched the roof.
The kind of thing where if a guy gives the guy a gorilla press slam and then does the old military press, he's back, he's gonna hit the ceiling.
So in the middle of that match, Rene Dupree whips MRB off the rope, and he goes to give MRB a back body drop.
Okay.
But then he realizes how low the ceiling is. So literally Rene just drops to his knees and back body drops him but MRB doesn't even hop. He just kind of
That's a great idea.
As Rene Dupree pretends to flip him, he just does a front flip over top of Rene Dupree and lands on the mat. It's also the show where the Italian Policio.
Was this the Italian Big Boss Man?
Yes,
guy who was from Italy, and he dresses just like the Big Boss.
Yes, but it was like a greener colored shirt, right?
He was at the first ever RCW show that I helped out at in Red Deer. So was Rene Dupree. This must have been the same fucking tour.
The Springbrook was the Thursday, then they did Friday, Saturday in Calgary and Edmonton, and then they did.
It wasn't Springbrook. It was full on Festival Hall mainline Red Deer.
Okay, so Red Deer at that point.
Yeah.
But
Jesse Neal was on the tour.
Yeah, okay.
He did a dive off the balcony.
Yes, I missed that show. I missed that one, but I ended up going to Edmonton and Stettler.
That was the first ever show I helped out at, and I did music.
This guy was absolutely shit.
The Italian Big Boss Man?
The Italian Policia. I remember this name. I remember it for the rest of my life. And so we're in this little hall where we're getting a decent rate to go. It's like a spot show for us, right? They're paying for us to come in.
Okay.
They're paying us to whatever. I don't know what it was. And dude puts the other guy through the wall.
Squig ended up making
Squig ended up making no money. I think he said he came up
in town.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think Squig said he lost money on this show because of him putting him through the wall because he had to pay for the goddamn wall. I was just like, what the fuck? In this show, this is actually the first time we did a road trip quick calls.
I'll be honest with you. He probably just told you that so he didn't have to pay you.
Oh no! At that point, I was going out to the show either way because I drove out with Mike and Brian.
I'm just kidding too.
No, I was driving out with Mike and Brian. Anyways, we're going to the show.
Okay, yeah.
Mike the ref and the Wrestling Mind, Brian Hamilton.
I thought you were talking about maybe Mike Slade and
Nick
Hornby.
No, Mike and Brian from Backbreaker Media Network.
Yeah.
And they, I was driving and we were going out to the show just to watch it anyways, because we just wanted to see the spot show. And mostly because MRB was on it and he didn't work the Edmonton or Calgary shows at that point. It still doesn't, but, we were going, so we wanted to go out. And it was such a fun show to be a part of. And such a small little venue, it was so much fun. Yeah, it was my first. Yeah, that was my first time doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I don't want to turn the podcast into.
Oh no, dude! I like stories.
My first time when I was re-announcing, it was something I had mentioned a few times that I wanted to do.
Me and you talked about it a bunch.
Yeah,
when I was working Springbrook and stuff, you were saying you'd like to get into it, and then I ended up not being able to do a lot of the Springbrook shows because my work got in the way.
Yeah, and I mean at that point, Dixon Butts was also ring announcing.
Yeah, so like Corbeil had left, and Mike took over for like a good 6-8 months somewhere, and then when Mike the ref, then when he kind of fell out of it, Dixon was doing some, and then I started doing some. And I kind of just pushed Dixon out of there. I was just like, this is my job now. At least for Calgary or for Edmonton and Springbrook. I'm just like, no, this is mine now. Because we were kind of like kind of switching on and off. And I'm just like, no, Edmonton's mine. And I kind of just I didn't do it maliciously, but I kind of just became my show. And
at the same time, fuck Dixon Butts.
Well, yeah, let's not talk too much about that guy.
100%, I do not want to get into the.
Yeah, there's a lot of hatred
but
for that guy at this point. But yeah. And then I ended up taking over, and and then me and you was in Springbrook. We were talking. I remember talking to you because I remember when you first started coming out and you were just a fan. Like,
well, for RCW, I'll be honest. The first ever RCW show I went to, I worked. I was the sound guy.
I remember you were just a guy who, and then randomly you were there, and I'm like, "Hey, we need sound," and you're just like, "Sure," and you started working sound.
I did it for VIPW out in BC and ECCW a couple of times before I had come to RCW. Like, I literally, the way I got my job in RCW was there was a show happening, and it was like, British Bulldog's son, and
David Boy Smith.
Davey Boy Smith, Rene Dupree. These guys are all going to be on the show in Alberta, in Red Deer.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I've done sound at a couple shows in BC. I used to help out set up the ring in VCW all the time.
Yeah.
Like I was.
That's how I got started.
If you talk to Vid Bain, who one day I would really love to have Vid Bain on the podcast, but he kind of gave me my start in wrestling, and basically my job was to put up posters for the show and help set up the ring, and then eventually I got doing interviews in the ring. I would interview a wrestler and something would go down, and it happened a couple of times. VCW, Victoria City Wrestling, wasn't around for all that long. But anyway, so this, what was I talking about?
You showed up to the show and you were
for RCW.
Services,
for RCW, I just emailed Squig out of the blue and said, "This is what I've done. Would you like a hand at the show?" And he said, "Yeah, come on down."
Yeah,
and so I ended up doing music that
because
night.
I remember when we went to Springbrook, I can't remember the guy's name, but we had a guy that was doing sound every show. And
probably Preston.
Preston, yes.
Yeah.
I think it was Preston. He was doing our sound because he worked. I think he had an association with the Springbrook Multiplex or something.
I don't know if he did or not.
Well, he was the only one that knew how to turn the boards on. So
when I was doing sound in Springbrook, they would have some guy from the facility turn on the boards for me. And then it was here's the controls, and there's 2 or 3 different volume things you need to know about. The Springbrook sound system actually is far more reliable than the RCW system.
That was my favorite sound system to work with, tell you the truth, because I could go as loud as I wanted, and I didn't drop the speakers out. Because when I do CWE, my way I announce, I go quite loud with mine, especially for Barricade, because I go, "This is Barricade," and I go loud with it. Twice working for CWE, I dropped the sound dropped out because I put too much into it.
Yeah.
It
when the sound system fails.
It's occasionally happened to me doing shows at RCW. The sound system dropped out because it went a little too loud, which I gotta learn to be not go that loud. I literally have a microphone in front of me. I don't need to be as loud as I am.
Did I ever tell you about the time we did the RCW show in Calgary where we didn't get the music or microphone working until the 4th match?
Did you just start yelling out the announcements?
I think we talked about this on the Dirty Mike podcast, but I basically came out to the ring and was like, ladies and gentlemen, our sound system is not working at the moment. We're going to do this old school style.
Yeah.
The first match of this night, a fatal 4-way match. And there was literally, like, Dirty Mike was supposed to kind of promo and stuff. But it was like, yeah, no, that's not happening.
You can't do it, because you don't want to be just sitting there yelling for 5 minutes.
That's exactly what I did.
A promo for 5 minutes with a mic is okay because you're getting the audio to everybody. Everybody's hearing it, or the most part, depending on how good the sound system is. But if you're screaming, not everybody's going to hear you.
I wasn't screaming. I mean, I have a background in improv, comedy, sort of like theater sports, right? So I'm used to projecting my voice.
And I'm just generally loud.
And exactly. So I was capable, and but basically it was like, yeah, coming to the ring, weighing 260 pounds from Marystown, Newfoundland, the monster Cameron Stevens. And then he walks out to silence with no music and, like, waves to the fucking crowd.
Shit.
And I'm like,
honestly, I think there's been a couple times I've been at shows where music's failed, and I've been, like, being in the crowd, you just start singing something random. That's the best part. When you're in the crowd with the smart enough people, you start singing, then everybody kind of chants along. Oh, man, I wish I would have been there for that. I would have just started singing.
yeah, no, I'll be, I mean, let's be honest totally with everybody on the podcast here. My aunt died yesterday, and I am currently crushing some beers while we are recording. But it has occurred to me, like when I was working at Walmart in Red Deer, I was like, oh, if the music ever fails again, I'm just going to start singing to the tune of whoever's theme song it is and be like,
but if you got cameras, even who is
heavy metal. He's coming to the ring right now. Like,
it's the monster Cameron Stevens.
Yeah.
Rah, rah, rah. Just like, you gotta make it, if you're gonna do that, you gotta make it enjoyable too. Or you just start singing Barbie Girl or something.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. I would get so much hate if I did that.
But if you're in the crowd and the sound fails, the best thing to do is start singing a song like that, because it's a song everybody knows, and then the wrestlers, you're going to crack the wrestler on it, guaranteed.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's a part of it too.
No.
Like, let's talk about that. Like, as the ring announcer for RCW, I know firsthand, and as a former ring announcer, you know firsthand, that it can be quite disorganized at times.
Oh, dude, there's been shows where I've been, like, and nothing against the promoter. You know, we all knew Steven Styles. But he hasn't always been the most organized promoter. Don't get me wrong, he puts on a great show most of the time. But it's like there's been shows where I've been waiting for music, like trying to, I don't even know the match card till about 10 minutes out. I'm ring announcing. I'm also trying to set up sound for a guy who's never, like, maybe at another, whatever, like you weren't there, so setting up sound for somebody, because like we're using my computer.
I want to just give a shout out right now to Charles Spencer, our RCW sound guy, who
does a great job.
He's been doing it for the past few months.
Yeah,
he's come to Edmonton now.
He's been doing a phenomenal job, man.
He does a great job. Charles is the man. He's also check out his Facebook page, Wrestling Glory Days.
Very good reporter.
Charles is the man. He got pretty hot at me last show.
It's a thankless job, because, like, and if you screw a sound cue up,
100%.
The crowd can turn on you. Along with, like, Kyle, before we started doing this, was showing me a video of a wrestling match in Lakeland Pro Wrestling, and they announced this one guy named the Canadian Goose, but they started playing Steven Styles music. So comes Steven Styles. He's getting all mad at the announcer because the sound guy's screwing up. So and especially for crowds that like RCW has, which are smarter to a lot of people's music too, right? Because if you say you have a guy in the ring and you play his music, but you play the wrong music, the crowd can turn on you, because they know that person. For a majority of
the fans in Edmonton and Calgary are so hardcore about this. They know, like, people know if they're at an RCW show.
You hear that NPR music,
I would say about 70% of the crowd is returning people.
Oh yeah,
At least.
we got I know at least a good percentage of the crowd is hardcores that hit all the shows in Edmonton that are constantly going to everything, so they know their stuff. And doing that, it's tough. Like I did sound for a good 2 years before I started ring announcing, because I did sound through the Corbeil days and through Mike's days. Like I did sound through both of those,
And that's the same story.
You
as me.
screw up, like people will boo you, because music is such a part of an entrance, such a part of after a match, and you do it wrong, man. Yeah.
I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, even when I say my first show with RCW in Red Deer, the one where Jesse Neal jumped off the balcony there.
I still regret missing that
Here's
show.
the thing. Steven or whatever, they had a computer and it had all the theme songs on it, but here's the thing, it didn't have all the theme songs on it.
Oh.
I want to talk about CWE, so this might be a great segue to go there, but
at last show.
But right before we talk about that, I just want to say Danny Duggan and Travis Cole were both on this show, and I remember specifically that some guys did not have their music on this computer.
Was this recent tour?
No, I'm talking about this.
The Festival Hall show.
Yeah, the Festival Hall show. So Danny was on that show, but he did, there was a few guys that didn't have music on the computer, so I had to literally unplug the computer and plug it into my cell phone, then go to YouTube, find whatever the fuck theme song these guys wanted to use, hope there's not a fucking ad for a Ford fucking car or some bullshit, and then play their music over the loudspeaker.
Because at that point there was no YouTube Premium, so you couldn't get rid of ads.
Yeah, and it's totally, you plug your cell phone in, it's a completely different volume level than the house, sound system or whatever. So I had to max my phone, and then max it up on the thing, and then I had to tell Thomas, TJ Logan, the legend.
TJ Logan, yeah.
Yeah, he was re-announcing that show. I had to tell him, hey, wait till I cut the music before you announce anything, because if you do, the music, the house volume is maxed, and it will completely just be it'll sound like shit, right?
Yeah, dude. Literally, okay, so the last CWE tour we were on, trust me, that's one of the most professionally run promotions I find is CWE.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about CWE.
And I'm the current ring announcer for the Edmonton shows. You do Springbrook. I think you actually did Grand Prairie in this last tour, right?
I did not announce on Grand Prairie. Here's what happened with the CWE for me, because it's an interesting story, actually. So I agreed months ago to do the CWE show in Springbrook, because at the time I lived in Red Deer.
Yeah, you were living down there.
And it literally is a 10-minute drive from my house. So I agreed to do it. They asked me to find some sponsors maybe, or an after-party show. I lined up an after-party show for them.
Yeah.
So everything was great there, and then I moved to Edmonton on the spur of the moment because, it was like an opportunity. Move to Edmonton and get more involved in wrestling, or just stay in Red Deer and continue to be depressed because I have no friends and whatnot.
Yeah, where a lot of your buddies that you're hanging out with these days from wrestling are living in either Edmonton or Calgary.
They either live in Edmonton or Calgary, and I knew for a while that I wanted to move to either city, and the opportunity came up to move to Edmonton, so I did that. But I also knew, okay, I've made a commitment to Danny Duggan.
Because you're literally on, as Danny's putting out Facebook posts, it says, hosted by Kyle Shaw. Just like for the show I did, it says, hosted by Andre Como. So, he's promoting you as the guy that's there hosting the show.
That's part of it, yeah. And I'm just I don't want to flake on this guy because, legit,
because then he has to find a guy.
I will be 100% with you, as far as, just financially. I live in Edmonton, but I did have to drive down to Red Deer twice. Once to deal with tickets, once to put out posters.
Yeah.
And so it cost me about $100 to fill my gas tank, so there's about $200 right there.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get less personal about it.
It's an hour and a half or so to Red Deer, but there and back, that's 3 hours. That's a tank. That's your tank gone twice.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, I've done the trip multiple times.
So I just wanted like, I told him, like, you know, I said, yeah, no, I want to do this, and I knew doing it. Like, I was like, okay, I know going into this I'm going to lose money on it, but I don't want to flake out, and I want to be known as a reliable guy. For
the amount of times I've lost money going to shows because I want to be reliable and I just want to go and do it.
Yeah.
It's a lot, trust me.
So then about 3 days before the show in St. Albert, because the loop was St. Albert, Grand Prairie, Springbrook, and then etc. I think they went to BC after that.
BC, and then they swirled back. They did like 2 or 3 days in BC, and then they went to Calgary.
Exactly. So anyway, so here's what happened with CWE. I get a call, like, not a call, but a text message from Danny, and he's like, hey, will you come and help me out with my merch table in St. Albert and in Grand Prairie? And
because you worked the door at the St. Albert show I worked.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, 100%, I will come and do your St. Albert show. Like, that's not a problem. It's 20 minutes away from my house, right? But Grand Prairie, like, I can't afford to drive up there. Like,
that's a long trip.
So Danny's like, okay, well, don't worry about that, because I'm going to make sure your gas is covered. You're going to get, like, your hotel, like, where you're staying is going to be covered. We're going to pay you for doing all the shows. Like, don't worry about it. So I was like, okay, sweet. 100%, I have nothing to do. I'll go do it, right? So
yeah.
I went and did the St. Albert show. You did a fantastic job that night, of course.
Thank you very much,
as a ring announcer. I will say my only
fantastic job on the RCW show.
My only critique of you as a ring announcer, and
sure,
100%. I'm not trying to, like, please don't get angry at me and hit me or something.
I wouldn't.
Is that you use cue cards or you use like a piece of paper in the ring?
Yeah, but that's for me more or less, because when I was at RCW, I rarely ever went off the cards. I'd have them on me.
I will be honest with you. I don't blame you for doing this, because this goes into the story. That's my one critique of you. But
I never want to screw up. That's the thing.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So the next day after St. Albert, I go up to Grand Prairie, and I'm driving with Roy Flash Gordon, Chilean Sea Bass from WWE
we heard on the
Raw.
podcast.
Yep. Justin Locke, who's the Hellraiser from Newfoundland.
Yep.
I've also got in the car Naomi. I can't remember what his last name is.
One of the Japanese guys?
He absolutely one of the Japanese guys from DDT. And Rekka, the other.
I loved him so much.
Rekka from DDT Japan, he was also fantastic, so I drove all those guys.
Yeah, I think Rekka was from Taiwan. Like, he's from Taiwan or something.
Yeah, he's from like the Philippines or Taiwan.
No, he's from Taiwan, because I remember that's where he had me intro from, was from Taiwan.
Okay, yeah.
But he works for DDT. Like, all 3 Japanese guys we had in worked for DDT, but man, they were great.
They were awesome wrestlers, yeah. So I drive all those guys up to Grand Prairie, and we got to the building, we did the show. It was fantastic. At the end of the show, Danny's like, okay, Kyle, you take...
Oh, I heard this.
You take Roy and Justin, and you're going to go stay at a fella from Grand Prairie. He was on PWA show. He wrestled on the PWA show this weekend. Grayson is his last name.
Oh, Barry Grayson.
Yeah. So we went...
The guy who I originally thought was Burt Grayson.
Okay, yes. He was wrestling in Grand Prairie, and Danny set it up so that we were staying at his house, me, Roy, and Justin. And the Japanese fellas were staying at a hotel in Grand Prairie.
Okay.
So I assumed, because those Japanese fellas left with someone else after the show
to go to the
hotel, that they had a ride to Springbrook the next day.
Oh.
And here's the thing, like, I'm not the only one that assumed this. So did Roy and Justin. Okay.
But you are the driver.
I am the driver.
Technically,
yes.
the one to blame.
Justin has heard about my podcast. He listened to the one with the MVR because he's a Newfoundlander, and MVR, of course, a Newfoundland mainstay. Yeah. Anyway, Justin Locke has a history with those guys. Anyway, he heard I had a podcast and was like, what if we record on the way back to Springbrook there?
Road trips are the best podcast.
I was like, yes, this is absolutely sounds like a fantastic idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we are literally recording the podcast. We left Grand Prairie at 8:30 in the morning. Like, I got up from Barry Grayson's house. We left Grand Prairie by 9 o'clock. We were out of there, right? We're driving down the road. Eventually, I'm like, okay, I'm coffeeed up enough. Let's do the podcast. So we're starting the podcast, and we got a call around 10:40, almost 11 o'clock from Danny going, hey.
So you're about 2 hours, almost 2 hours out of
3 fucking hours out of Grand Prairie,
Jesus.
and we get a call from Danny going, hey, those Japanese fellas are waiting for you at the hotel. I'm like,
you had to backtrack?
No, I literally was like, because he called Justin, because I guess he messaged me, and I didn't reply.
Well, you're driving.
I'm driving, doing the podcast, right? So he calls Justin Locke, and then he says, no, just find the next eatery or place you guys can stop, wait there, and we'll come, right? And so
they'll drop them there.
Yeah, so we go, and that's when I got pulled over right outside of White Court. You also hear that on the podcast. I mean, you can literally hear Justin Locke go, ooh, I think I just got a whiff of the bacon there, boys. And that's a Newfoundland way of saying, hey, there's cops there, slow the fuck down, idiots. You know?
You're probably ripping it pretty good because you want to get to the next town as fast as possible.
100%. Like, the plan was, we're good to Red Deer, like, Justin wants to hit the gym, so we'll go hit the gym, because I still have memberships at the gym.
Yeah, there you go. You probably made it for a year.
I'm like, yeah, let's do it, right? But anyway, so we get to White Court there, which is still another 40 minutes down the fucking road, and so I pull into the Humpties, and, I got pulled over, like, 10 minutes out of White Court. That sucked. Anyway, so me, Justin, and Roy were sitting at White Court at this Humpty's eating when Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Jake Creed show up, and they're in the ring truck. So Justin and Roy go with them in the ring truck because there's extra room, and they want to be able to set up the ring in Red Deer before everybody else arrives.
So you need the guys there.
Yeah. So then Danny shows up, and he has crammed 7 fucking wrestlers and all their gear into his car, and they left, like, Grand Prairie. And then it turns out I drove from White Court, because I was supposed to drive with Naomi and Rekka.
Yeah.
And then it was like, Shingihiro
Ishii.
Yeah. He was going to go with Danny and them, but it was like, well, one Japanese guy going with a whole bunch of white guys, Canadian fellas, or whatever.
Might be a little awkward.
English speakers. Yeah. One Japanese guy go with a whole bunch of English speakers, or it could be the one Japanese guy goes with the other 2 Japanese guys with one white...
And the crazy white guy.
So, like, it ended up being me and the 3 Japanese fellas all the way to Springbrook from White Court, which is like a 5-hour drive. Especially if you've just been pulled over and you do not want to go over the speed limit.
I can get a second ticket in the day.
Exactly. So I was following the speed limits, then I had to pick up the tickets from the vendors. We literally showed up for the RCW, or not RCW, excuse me, the CWE show in Springbrook with 4 minutes till bell time.
Oh, shit.
Roy Gordon comes out to the car to talk to Rekka, because that's who he's wrestling in the first match.
Oh!
And he's, like, Rekka actually spoke the best English of all the Japanese guys.
And it still wasn't great.
But, basically, Roy Gordon wrestled him in Grand Prairie, so he walks up to the car and says, Rekka, same match last night.
Well, that's sort of the best way to do it.
Yeah. I go into the dressing room. I get dressed, put my suit on. I'm like, okay, what's the information for the 2 guys in the first match? And this is one of the only shows you will ever see that Kyle Shaw actually used in ring. I had the script.
Were you using my cards that I gave you from a couple days before?
I used cards because I was like, I am not going to go into this 4 minutes.
Were you using the cards I gave you from...
I don't think so. I just wrote it down on a piece of paper. Oh, yeah. Because that's what I normally do. I just write it down on a piece of paper, and I look at it all night before I go into the ring. I just look at it before I go in the ring, then I
that show, I was getting my info maybe about 30... from all these guys about 30 minutes before the show started.
Yeah.
So, I was, Shigehiro, Rekka, Naomi, those guys I'm not familiar with. Jake Creed, I didn't need his because I didn't announce those guys. But Marky, I don't even need a card for him because I know I've known his stuff forever. Certain people I can do, Roy Flash Gordon, I don't know his stuff. So
exactly,
and I don't ring announce for those guys regularly, be different. Like when I was at RCW,
I wasn't being super obvious about it either. Like I was just I glanced at it, put it away, and then that's what happened. But I did use it for that show. But like I say, I showed up with 4 minutes to spare, brand new roster. There was maybe one guy, two guys from RCW on the show, if any. I don't even think there was, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think the guys that I announced were like maybe mostly just guys from like CWC.
Oh yeah, so like Pride, Stone, Dawkins.
Pride was not on the show.
That's what probably Dawkins.
Jude Dawkins was on the show for sure.
Dylan Stone?
No. Dylan Stone was not there.
Okay, Calamity was not there.
Sean Martins and Alex Zawicker.
Yeah, the lady, and then
those were the mainline CWC guys that were there. Was Jude Dawkins and
well,
Sean
there'd be no
Martins.
point to bring the RCW guys to the town when you have some local CWE guys on the card anyways.
Yeah,
there's really no point.
You know what was awesome was after the CWE show in St. Albert, that Knight was on that show, and I got to see Knight again. I don't know what happened with Knight and RCW, but
I don't have a clue.
Yeah, no, it's probably not something we need to get into. But
no,
at the same time, it was great to see him because I personally don't have any kind of issue with him. So.
No, me either. I love that dude. Like me and him, every time we usually talk for a good 10-15 minutes every time. Like just catch up, see how each other's doing. I love that guy. Like. I love every time he gets in the ring and goes, wrestling! That is legitimately one of my favorite things.
It's one of the things I was thinking to myself when I was pulled over by the police. I was like, I'm here, I'm driving.
For wrestling!
I've got a Newfoundland guy and a black dude in the back seat here. I'm kind of glad that the two Japanese guys weren't in the car, because that would have been a real odd conversation with the cop.
So
what's going on?
You have a Newfie, black guy, and two Japanese dude. What the f?
What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
But it was a ton of fun. Anyway.
There's so my favorite story from the road. I got a couple. Got to work a show summer of 2016. I went to Kyle, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
This is because this is towards the end of Mike ring announcing. Squig ends up doing a tour. So he did, the first night was in Kyle, Saskatchewan under the RCW banner, and the second show was in Moose Jaw for Ringside Wrestling. So Mike, who was ring announcing at the time for RCW in Edmonton.
That's Mike the ref. Right?
Mike the ref, yeah. He couldn't make the tour because he couldn't commit to both days. So Squig asked me, he's like, "Hey, you've been wanting to ring announce and you've been doing a couple shows here and there. Do you want to come out?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I'm like, "But I can't really afford because I was just on EI at the time. I just left my job. My job at the job site I was on ended. So I had some money in the bank, but not a lot."
So did you just catch a ride with one of the boys?
So Squig said no. He said he paid for my entire weekend.
Oh, okay.
Like he bought my breakfast and supper. And paid, breakfast. Even legitimately, if we were going out, I had to buy my.
You son of a bitch! You've never paid for my fucking.
He bought me He brought me I ended up eating. We ended up getting free supper at the Kyle show. He bought me breakfast the next morning.
If we ever do a show in Kyle, Saskatchewan again, and I am ring announcing, I expect fucking my food to be covered. I am sorry. This fucking place is named after me.
And so I get we all had the hotels were set up, right? Because there was a guy. So what it was, we were going out. There was the last time they had wrestling in this town was in 1999. This is what I've been told. That it was in 1999.
I do think I've heard legendary stories about Kyle, Saskatchewan.
There's a guy named So Damn Insane, and someone you're very familiar with, D. Dwight Davis.
Okay.
So the last time they wrestled there,
with him.
Yeah, because he former one half of the tag team champions.
Yeah, no, he used to give me a ride up to the shows in Edmonton all the time.
So it was him and So Damn Insane back in 1999. This is what I've been told. I don't
He
know if
was wrestling this guy named So Damn Insane?
dude, and yeah,
Which is obviously a play on Saddam Hussein.
yeah, and you can tell by looking at him. Yeah, there is a similarity. That I'm guaranteeing that's what. So supposedly because D. Dwight Davis was playing the heel or something, he I don't. This is what I've been told.
So Damn Insane is the fucking baby face.
This is just from snippets I learned over that weekend.
Okay.
Right? I don't know the entire
Sorry.
story. These are just snippets I learned over the weekend. And he left So Damn Insane, who was from there. He was from Kyle.
Was that where he's legit announced from?
I don't know. But when I announced him coming out,
Iraq or Iran.
No, but I don't know if his gimmick was that. I'm not I don't know. His gimmick there was the hometown babyface, right? Because that's where when on just on that show, I don't know what he was, but supposedly D. Dwight Davis left him in a bloody mess, and that was the last time they had wrestling there, right? So we're coming in. And I
want to have D. Dwight Davis on the podcast now just so I can talk about this story with him about how he once faced a baby-faced So Damn Hussein or what?
No, it's So Damn Insane. It's So Damn Insane.
Okay, well, whatever.
But it comes off like Saddam Hussein to me. But I could be completely wrong. Again, I don't know. I wasn't around back then. But that was the inclination I took. But so this guy he was the main promoter. He promoted the show. Like Squig supplied the ring. Squig brought everything. Like Vic drove out. But he was promoting the show in the town, right?
So Damn Hussein.
So Damn Insane. So Damn Insane was So Damn Insane.
All right.
He was doing the poster. He was getting all the tickets sold. He got sponsors. This was the biggest show I'd ever, I think, maybe even still have ever announced in front of.
Oh, really? There's 33,000 people there.
This town, I think, had, somebody told me about 200 and some people that lived in Kyle. Right? Okay. 200 and some people live in Kyle. And I think they said it was over 300 paid. And then there was a bunch more people there because there was volunteers there.
So, legit, the whole town showed up, plus people from surrounding towns came to check it out.
Dusty Adonis was on the show.
Oh,
so
he's fantastic.
He's from a town a half hour or so away or so. So there was people that came from that town to come and see Dusty work, too. So he was drawing from other towns. He was from Estevan. Yeah, I think it's Estevan. And... yeah, he drew people from Estevan to come to this show in Kyle, right? And so they legit, they drew over 300 people paid, plus they had, all these volunteers. They were doing, they had a barbecue going on outside. So on this show, as wrestlers were getting there, I had to, I was going outside and downloading songs. I had my laptop in one hand, my phone in the other.
Oh, no.
Because I had my phone set as my, but I couldn't get signal inside the arena because it was blocking everything out.
So you were having to download songs.
I was hotspotting my phone. I was hotspotting my phone so I used my computer to download songs because I didn't have half the wrestlers' music. So I was downloading music for all these guys. I had to download So Damn Insane's music. Everybody, Rex Roberts' music. Everybody.
What was So Damn Insane's music?
I do not.
Was it
Insane in the Membrane?
Oh, okay.
Insane in the Membrane.
I'm just glad it was not some Iron Sheik.
No, it was Insane in the Membrane. And the main event was a 6-man tag.
Okay.
Which was So Damn Insane and two others versus D. Dwight and the two other heels. But everybody kind of worked multiple spots on the show, right?
Yeah.
And Colton Kelly was on this tour. Was on this tour.
I like Colton Kelly.
Colton Kelly. This is probably just as he was starting to work for PWA, or just before. And I got a good story about him after the show. But this crowd was loud all night. It's probably one of the best crowds I've ever worked in front of in my life. And I was nervous because this is my first kind of solo real show. I'd only kind of done part shows with people.
Yeah.
And this is my first real solo show, and I'm in front of 350 plus people. It was over 300 paid, and then there was a fuck ton of volunteers, dude. It was 350 plus. And man, probably one of my favorite memories in wrestling is doing that show. And the crowd went home happy. So Damn Insane gets his win back off of D. Dwight Davis. It was phenomenal. And I can't remember who Rex Roberts was.
Was Ronnie there?
Who?
Ronnie.
No, this is in Saskatchewan, bro.
Ronak Amin, D. Dwight Davis' wife.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Ronnie the drunk.
I don't know who Ronnie the drunk is, but I'm sure it's not the same person that D. Dwight Davis was going to bed with.
Ronnie was there. She wasn't his valet at the time. She hasn't started valeting for him yet, but she was there. She was at the show, but she hadn't started being his valet yet.
Okay.
But she was at the show. Yeah, but no, it was a blast, man. And then so we go out drinking after the show.
Okay.
So we all went to Soda and St. owns a pizza place in Kyle, right?
Nice.
So we went to the pizza place. We ate a bunch of free pizza because he was giving out free pizzas to the wrestlers because we came into the show, and then we went drinking. This little hole, like I think it's probably the only bar in this little tiny town. So we're all drinking. We're all having a good time at the bar. And then we're going to go leave because we're all going to go back to rooms, crash because we're all getting up in the morning to drive on. And like Colton Kelly is the first one on the door. He kicks the fucking door of this bar open, walks out. The door slams shut real fast, right? Mm-hmm. So the next guy opens it up as we're all coming out, and all we see is Colton Kelly laying on the ground, just laying there at the bottom of the stairs. Dude was wasted enough that he went out, missed a step, twisted his ankle, and then went down onto the ground.
Is he okay?
Oh, he fucked up his ankle, but he was fine. He was okay. But it was the funniest fucking thing because he gets up all fucking.
Is Colton Kelly? I heard Colton Kelly is Tex Gaines' son.
Yep, Tex Gaines Jr. And the referee.
And I heard that
one referee, we kept yelling Tex Gaines Jr. We call his little brother Tex Gaines.
Yeah, I heard this on your podcast, and I was like, that guy, his name is like Sid or whatever,
yeah,
right?
Sid. Yeah,
okay.
Sid, yeah.
He was refereeing his brother's match. And
Collusion!
Like, afterwards, I was like, wait, the fuck? You cannot have your brother referee your own goddamn match with your dad in the crowd.
MRB used to have his girlfriend referee his matches.
Oh, really? That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, before
Shout out to Connie.
Shout out to Connie Lynn Blaze. But, no, we just walk out and he's laying on the ground. Like, this is after he kicked the door out, went out the door. We're not that far behind him. And then we all go out and he's laying there and he's starting to get up. We're like, what the fuck? He's like, I missed a step. And he's fucking he's hammered. Oh, boy. And we wake up the next morning, we find out he fucked his ankle up enough that he couldn't work the show in Moose Jaw.
Oh, no.
He ended up just managing everybody on the show.
The poor people of Moose Jaw.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. So we ended up so me and Squigger grab he buys me breakfast because come on, Squig's the best, obviously. This is so like they have their own ring announcer at ringside. So I help with setup, and I worked our guys' merch because we brought our own merch with us, right?
Okay.
So I brought our merch, and we sold one picture the entire night.
Oh Jesus!
There's a picture of Slammer, and Slammer was there. Slammer was on this tour. And this is the first time I've met, or the night before this tour was the first time I met a man named Mark Merrick.
Oh, okay, I've heard of him too.
He's a promoter / wrestler out of Manitoba. Yeah, I just say he's a promoter wrestler out of Manitoba.
Okay,
I'll give him. That's the most I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So this man comes into the ring. He has a very Bret Hartish look. First, they have this tournament going on. On this show, they did a tournament.
Doesn't he fucking wrestle as the Green Ranger?
Now he does.
Oh, okay.
But at this point, he kind of had a very kind of a Bret Hartish look to him. Like he had the black jacket, the color, and he. So they had the tournament going on at the ringside show to crown their first champion.
Yeah.
And so Mark Merrick versus Steven Styles. Can't remember if it was first round or second round.
Okay.
I think it was I don't know, one of the 2 rounds, because Squig went to the finals.
Oh, shit, really?
I'm pretty sure he did. No, I think it was somebody else. I don't know, Slammer was Squig was in 2 matches. And Mark Merrick breaks Squig's nose.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Just off of a simple move, he broke Squig's nose.
Oh.
And as much as I rip on Squig, like, Merrick did not impress me on this show. 100%. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
He looked so sloppy. And broke Squig's. I think it was broke his nose. And then Squig, because he broke it in the first match. Because Squig had to go back out and wrestle a second match, and it was super fast because he didn't want to work because he had a broken fucking nose.
I don't blame him.
But and so we sold one piece of merch at our from the RCW table, and it was a Slammer picture. So this girl, I don't want to. Yeah,
she has large ears and a long tail.
I don't want to denigrate women by calling this a girl, but she, and don't get me wrong, I'm not sexist, but come on, there's limits to things. And so she wants Slammer to sign it. So I go to the back because Slammer's in the locker room, walking around butt fucking naked.
Slammer?
He's still, like, they're all getting changed, so he's just rolling around butt fucking naked in the locker room.
Fair enough.
And I'm just like, Slammer,
I do that all the time.
Yeah. Slammer's like, hey, I'm like, hey, Slammer, this girl wants an autograph. He's like, yeah. I'm like, and I look at him like, yeah. And he just looks at my face and goes, oh, I'm not coming out. Because he saw the look on my face when he went, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, no. Because I think he was trying to get an indication on if he could fuck her or whatever, right? But that's kind of the indication I took. And so he's like, not coming out. Bring the picture to me. So I go back out and I said, yeah, he can't come out, but I can bring the picture back. And she's like, no, I'll just wait here. I think he actively avoided this person because this person ended up leaving like 30 minutes later. I was like, fuck. But it's not against Slammer because I don't think he gave a fuck at that point, right? Because it was the $5 RCW pictures that we sold, so I don't think Slammer was getting even a cut from that either. I think that was because Squig's merch that he printed for everybody. But and then we ended up just driving back to Edmonton through night. But that was probably one of my favorite tours one of my favorite things I've ever been involved with in wrestling. That was just the best being on tour like that. It was so much fun. And driving through the night back from Moose Jaw to Edmonton fucking sucks.
I've never been to Moose Jaw.
I slept half the way, and then I took over when we got later in the morning. Because I'm not, like, for me, whether I've slept for 20 hours and I go get in a car, or if I've been up for 2 days and I go get in a car, if I'm driving at night, I will fall the fuck asleep.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not, like, if it's late at night, I do not do well driving home. My body just wants to go to sleep. So I started driving the first leg of the first hour, and I'm like nodding, and I'm like, Squig had been wrestling. He drove all day, and I'm nodding out, and I'm like, Squig, I can't fucking keep my eyes open. So he woke up. He'd been sleeping for maybe an hour. So he got up, drove for the next few hours, then started to get a little bit late. We switched back, and I drove the last leg. But I can't for some reason drive at night. I don't know what the fuck it is.
No.
I felt so bad. They made Squig have to drive for that time, but yeah. And then my best meeting.
Squig is also a terrible driver.
Oh my god! I was so. When we drove to Kyle, so we left super early in the morning. He decided for some reason the GPS we had sent us down all the old back roads. Like the old highways, then we didn't go down the new stuff, which was a much better route. We were driving down these little roads. We ended up in Estevan first. We got some food there. Then we continued on another, like, whatever it was, half hour, 45 minutes to Kyle. And the roads we took from Estevan to Kyle, and then we found out there was a way better route. Mm-hmm. If we would have went 10 minutes more, like, east, we could have taken a way better route. I was legitimately scared because Quick kept, when we were passing him, he'd have to go half into the ditch. That's how tight these goddamn roads were. And I wasn't a fan of riding with him to begin with. And he's half going into the ditch to not hit people?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I was scared.
2 months ago, we did a show in Calgary. There was a huge blizzard on the way back to Edmonton.
Yeah.
But we had a show the next night in Edmonton, so we had to come back.
Yeah.
We had no choice. But yeah, Squig was driving, and Yeah, we had a huge. We got spun out, ended up in the ditch.
Oh.
I was like, oh shit, we're sitting here in the ditch, and it is like fucking 1 o'clock.
What were you guys
1:30,
driving?
2 o'clock in the morning. Squig's SUV or whatever.
Oh, that piece
It was
of garbage.
me, Squig's old lady, Michelle, Cassie, and maybe Squig's grandma, or Michelle's grandma. I don't remember.
Holy shit.
Anyway, we're sitting in this ditch, and I'm like, oh, is this gonna take all night for them to send a fucking tow truck to pull us out? Anyway, Squig puts in 4x4, pulls us out of the fucking road, puts us back on the fucking highway, and we made our way back to fucking Edmonton that night.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
as far as even yeah, you're a little scared, but Squig knows what he's fucking doing. He's been up and down the road
he's traveled.
enough times.
Dude, that dude's traveled a lot, man. He knows how to drive. He drives like shit, but he knows how to drive. Let's
And
say
that's
that.
the thing. I give credit, all the credit in the world to Squig. Squig's been keeping RCW going for fucking 15, 16 years.
Yeah. By hook or by crook, he's kept it running.
He does whatever he has to do to make sure that fucking twice a month there's going to be a show.
Yeah.
At the same time, Squig's, he wants everybody to love RCW. RCW is his baby, and he wants it to be everybody
I get
else's
that,
baby
100%.
his way.
He's put a lot into it, and as much as I say I love and I say I started going to wrestling in 2009, when I started going to PWA, but my first two indie shows were RCW shows.
Yeah.
Legitimately, he did 2 shows in 2000, I think it was late 2005 or early 2006, and then later in 2006 in Morinville. He did the first show at the Legion in Morinville, and I was actually a Legion member. I still am to this day. And I helped set up. I didn't do the ring part.
Yeah.
I helped do chairs and everything, and I got to watch this show, and it was my first exposure to independent professional wrestling. And then the second time I saw a wrestling show was later that year. He did a show at the Parish Hall in Morinville, and he had a person who I still love to this day, and I haven't watched him wrestle in years. Cougar meet Kyle Sebastian.
Who?
He's a guy who works.
Oh, Kyle Sebastian. Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
The other famous Kyle in pro wrestling.
Yeah,
Pro
wrestled in
wrestling.
ECCW, right?
No, PPW.
But he
down in
definitely
Lethbridge.
worked in ECCW.
Probably, but he currently works for PPW actually in Lethbridge right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was on that show, and there was a Gold Rush tournament. Winner got a shot at the title, and they had Kyle Sebastian win it. I still remember that. Yeah, but yeah, this promotion's been around a long time, and dude, it's given me this working for Squig has given me awesome opportunities to meet people, to do stuff. I met Kenny Omega, without having to pay for a ticket.
Yeah, 100%.
Because though I was helping with Ring Crew at that time, I was helping with Ring Crew. I was doing that, and I got to meet Kenny Omega for free. RCW's given me the opportunity to do a lot of stuff. I've met a lot of pro wrestlers, just being at shows, right? But the best part, probably to me, was again. This was actually the end of the summer of 2016. Maybe a couple weeks after the Saskatchewan tour.
Okay.
And Squig tells me we're doing X Fest and Sonic Boom. Essentially Sonic Boom was a festival here in Edmonton, and it was a 2-day festival.
Okay.
Right, so we were gonna there was bands playing on Saturday in one town, and then Saturday in Calgary, Saturday in Edmonton, then they'd swap. So we were going down to do the Saturday show in Calgary, and then we're coming back to do Sunday in Edmonton, and we're gonna put on wrestling matches, right?
Okay.
So we drive down. So we get I'm like, when are we leaving? He's like, oh, we're going down Friday night. I'm like, the fuck, we're going down Friday night for it? He's like, oh, we got to set up early in the morning. So we go down. I get a free hotel room at a fucking Holiday Inn, fucking nice hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
Rolled down with him, with Squig, his old lady at the time.
Yeah.
And Mutado.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was the trip I learned Mutado can chop people really, really hard. Because he just started chopping me throughout the tour.
I haven't seen Mutado in a while. What's going on with him?
We was at the last show, but not this past RCW show, but the October show. He was at the show.
Oh, the Bone Crusher Battle Royal show?
Yeah.
Oh,
he was sitting in the crowd.
I didn't see him battle.
He was sitting right behind me.
It bums me out. I didn't see him. I would have liked to have talked to him because I kind of coined the phrase Hakuna Matata.
Hey, he helped give us Blue Tato.
Yeah. Well, Blue Tato is good too,
but he helped give us the abortion that is Blue Tato. But and Jesse knows I'm kidding. But no, and so we went to Calgary, and so we were supposed to do the show, but it had been raining all night, and this place was like pure dirt. Okay. So as we walked in this place, we're all like sliding around. So Mutado and a couple of other people end up getting in their gear, and we're walking around. But they delayed opening X Fest. They ended up canceling it for the entire day. Oh, right. Jesus. We hung out in like this tent that was going. We played giant Jenga for 2 hours and all these stupid games. And then they canceled it, and we were like, "Well, get the fuck home." So we actually ended up driving right back. We just got in the car, drove back to Edmonton. Didn't actually work that Saturday.
No wrestling happened.
No concert happened either.
Oh, Jesus.
So we come back, me and Squig I ended up crashing at Squig's house that night because I was like, we're going to be going right to the Sonic Boom venue in Edmonton the next morning and doing setup. So we're like, screw it, I'll just crash at Squig's place. Sure. So crash at Squig's place, we get up the next morning, we head to the venue, and so we get everything set up. It's still raining though, so we can't really do the match, so we set the ring up and everything. And so we had access to catering. Like, they had a catering area in the back. Like, they had a building for catering for all the bands and everybody to play.
Word.
And so me, Avon Fox, the referee, and what the fuck was it? Cujo.
Oh, okay.
Cujo on that day became the biggest luchador I've ever seen.
Cujo, eh?
Yeah, Cujo. The masked luchador Cujo versus the masked luchador Mutado, and it was because we were brought in by it was some burrito company or taco company. They brought us in because they were doing this lucha thing, and they got Squig to come in, and I wore, and I was supposed to ring announce for Calgary, and then
they made you wear like a hood.
Yeah. I wore a lucha mask all day.
That's fantastic.
But I didn't end up ring announcing for Edmonton because we didn't actually really do any matches. And then Thaddeus Archer III was there. Okay. So he pretty much brought his megaphone and he just started announcing everything. And then when we did do the 1 3-minute match we did that day, which was the giant luchador Cujo and El Luchador Mutado, where Mutado almost broke his knee, taking off an Irish whip into the corner because he slipped. As he's going to the corner, he slipped and his leg went down, and turnbuckle hit his knee right here, like right on the side of his knee. As his leg went under the turnbuckle, he came like super close to breaking his knee.
Shout out to Mutado. I hope he's
tough motherfucker.
Okay.
He's one of the toughest guys I know.
Yeah.
And so we did. And so that was the only match of the day. So me, Avon, and they even made Avon wear a mask, just reffing the match.
Oh,
he wore a cape and a mask to referee a match.
That's excellent.
And Mutado and Cujo were both wearing capes on top of their hoods. It was great. And then so me, Cujo, and Fox, we all go to the back. Because we're going to go, because they each got tickets given to us so we can go to catering and get some food. So we go to catering, we're sitting there, and on this show, Tenacious D was playing. Okay. Jack Black and Kyle Gass.
Gotcha.
So we're sitting there eating, and when we got in there, we saw Kyle Gass was sitting at a table, but he was eating with a bunch of other people. So we didn't want to bother him, right? Because he's eating, and I hear stories about famous people getting kind of bothered by people coming up to them when they're eating, because it's your personal time, and I get that. So I'm not good, especially in catering where we're all kind of supposed to be professional. Yeah. We're here professionally too, so I don't want to interrupt this guy while he's eating. Sitting there, Jack Black fucking walks in, the fucking legend, Mr. Nacho Libre himself, right? So he walks in, he gets his food, goes and sits with Kyle. So we're all just sitting there going, oh my God, it's in HD, they're right there. Yeah. So then Jack Black, because he decided to get a little bit of food, he got up and went back out. So we're like, fuck it, we're following him. We all followed him out the door, and he was kind of standing outside the door when we came out, and we all asked him for pictures. And he goes, you guys doing a wrestling thing here? He's like, yeah, we put on one match, but we couldn't do any more because it's been raining. He's like, well, if you... He literally says this. He's like, damn, I really wish you guys were doing wrestling. I'd come over and do some stuff. Because he's legitimately trained in professional wrestling.
Jack Black is.
Yeah, you see Nacho Libre? Yes, he wasn't good. But he had to learn how to bump. He learned how to do, like, basic wrestling moves.
Oh, okay.
Because he learned for act...
He's probably almost as good as the Canadian Goose.
Maybe even better. Possibly better.
Probably better.
I think he could take I think he knows how to take a DDT properly.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, he was disappointed because I'm like, yeah, we had to close the ring up because it was not safe. And he was because he said if we were doing stuff, he would have come over. I was like, fuck. Could have had it, like, because we had the RCW banners up and everything, we could have had him taking pictures in front of RCW banners. So, like, me, Avon, Cujo, and then as we got to the back out, we told Thaddeus about it. Thaddeus takes off running to go get a picture with Jack Black, too. But, yeah, no, it was a blast. And, I got to meet Jack Black, like, that's just cool. Randomly backstage at an event because of professional wrestling.
That's fucking crazy.
I love this business, dude. Yeah. I don't get me wrong. I still ring announce three times a year for CWE. If I had the opportunity to go do it again more often, I probably would.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But I had such, even my year and change ring announcing. I had and trust me, I spent like 3 or 4 years doing ring crew. Like I set up rings just before I became a ring announcer. I remember setting up rings with Jesse Neal, Jesse Neal, and Vic, just putting rings up.
What?
There's the three of us.
Well, that's part of the deal too.
But the thing is, Jesse Neal was there putting a ring up. Like you wouldn't. He was the kind of guy that had no ego about him. I will say that 100% to Jesse Neal.
I've heard that about Jesse.
Like he had no problem getting there and putting up a ring, tearing a ring down with the boys. And like, because when he was living up here for a little, he was staying up here for a little while, right? And every show I would get there around 2:00 at the venue. It would be me, Vic, and Jesse and Squig. But Squig would always have to go off and go get concessions.
Oh yeah, Squig will find some reason.
No, but he legitimately had to go get concessions, right? So we had concessions for it because we were selling our own concessions.
Yeah, you can tell yourself that.
Okay,
Squig will find himself a reason why he doesn't.
I'm being nice here, okay? You can be negative and shitty about Squig. I'm gonna be nice about him.
Nah, but I love Squig.
I'll say this about Jesse Neal, man. The dude was a true pro, true professional, and it was me. We'd usually do the frame and get the boards on, and then everybody would start coming in when after all the metal was up. Yeah. And then we do the boards, and we just let everybody else do the boards and the ring because we did the metal. Like everybody else, then with another 10 guys, we kind of just stopped and let them finish it up, right? But the fact is, a guy like Jesse Neal could be, because he is a name. He could just be like, I don't need to do the ring crew and just leave it. But like that guy was a class act, super good to chill with. Like he told some cool stories, just sitting there talking, and he loved Vic's Ukrainian jokes.
Yeah,
like those cracked him up so much. Like he loved it.
No doubt. I
think everybody loves Vic's Ukrainian jokes, but like Jesse loved them. I'll say that.
Those of you that may have listened to the podcast with Squid a couple of weeks ago.
You got the hiccups now, don't you?
Yeah, I actually do. Anyway,
drink some more beer.
Those of you, that have listened to that podcast know that Jesse Neal actually is planning to move back out here in the new year.
That would be amazing.
So it's going to be pretty sweet.
That would be awesome to have Jesse back. For the locker room, he was awesome for the locker room. He was awesome for ring crew guys and all that stuff. Just generally. But that Squig's going to have to give up his theme music, though.
I can't speak to Squig's fucking entrance music.
He stole that from Jesse Neal.
Oh, really?
That was when Jesse was here, and that's after that song, Heathens, came out. He said, "This is my theme song," and he started using it. Now, I'm not sure if he's still using it to this day, but I would not be surprised if he is, because that's
I
a
know
dope
Squig
fucking
is.
that's a dope fucking song. And then after Jesse left, Squig's like, well, this is my music now, and the dickhead's still Jesse Neal's music.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No,
That's
these
what
are
it is.
dickheads, Squig. I love you.
Anyway, Andre, I know we've been going for a while now.
Yeah. Let's see. Hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah. So
there's a little bit we're gonna have Mike edit out, but
I'm sure that Mike will listen to it and edit it out.
He'll know
and
where it is.
honestly, I'll be totally honest with you.
I'm fine with everything that we said.
Everything we've said, I don't think there's anything that needs to be cut for reasons of if you say this, you might get fired, Kyle. You know, and that's basically all I worry about.
Yeah, you haven't said anything that incriminating.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to thank you, Andre, for coming on the podcast. Excuse me.
Always, dude. I love this. This was so much fun sitting down with you and talking wrestling stories, man.
For sure.
Great.
And like I say, I know you have your own podcast on Backbreaker Media, Total Nonstop Anarchy,
which you were my second guest, I guess. But I consider you my first real guest because the first episode was kind of a pilot, kind of me and Mike just figuring shit out. Yeah. You were my first real guest on that show. I consider you my first real guest.
And that was the first ever podcast that I really recorded too.
You're gonna come back and do it again for me, right?
100%. Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Which episode of TNA?
Yeah, probably because I'm recording another one here in the next week or so with another guy. That's episode 3. Daniel's coming back to do episode 4 with me.
Daniel Burns?
No, Daniel. Daniel Dropper.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, Daniel, man, he's living over in Ireland now.
Yeah.
He's back in Ireland. Yeah, Daniel's coming back. He did the show after you.
All right.
He's going to come back and do, TNA Weekly Pay-Per-View number 4, which is my 8th episode, I think. And then I'll probably have you on the new year to come back and do Weekly Pay-Per-View number 5.
Nice.
So, yeah. But if you want to find me on Twitter, @ThatCanadaGuy, on Instagram, @ThatCanadaDude. Don't forget to follow Backbreaker Media, Backbreaker Media on Twitter. Don't need the A because we're Canadian enough, eh? Yeah, so trust me, I'm not Squig. Mike's taught me all the plugs.
Nice.
And don't forget to hit our Backbreaker.
Honestly, he hasn't taught me any of them, so.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that's just because I do a shit ton of podcasts. I also host Quick Calls, which I will be leading the podcast from the upcoming. When's this coming out?
This is going to be airing on
next week
on Monday, so it'll be the week after.
So Quick Calls will actually have just coming out the day before of myself leading the show from RCW Holiday Chaos.
Oh, are you going to come in Holiday
I'm coming to Holiday Chaos, baby.
Okay, I was 100% wondering, I didn't want to make it awkward because I know Holiday Chaos is the same night as an NPW show.
Oh no, Mike and Brian are covering that one. I'm coming to cover RCW.
Okay, well,
heck yeah, buddy.
Awesome.
If I don't have anybody, I might have to pull you in as my co-host for the show.
Yeah, like I was just about to say to you, if I have time, I will jump in on your quick calls for RCW.
Definitely.
I know that we are going to be doing the Thaddeus Archer report. From this week's show, and excuse me, I've got the
I think it's just added something to the show.
Yeah. Anyway,
you should have hiccups every show you do.
Thaddeus, he messaged me with some ideas to do for a Christmas Archer report, and I messaged him back and figured the best spoof for us to do would be a Christmas Carol with Thaddeus Archer as
the Thaddeus
Scrooge.
Carol. The Thaddeus Carol.
Yeah, as Scrooge. I'll be honest with you.
Don't give too much away.
I don't think I've ever seen a Christmas Carol, the actual movie, but I've seen the Scrooge with Bill Murray a bunch of times.
Which is a playoff of that movie.
And yes, I think we can put together a fucking fantastic.
You should do Scrooge.
17 or 16-minute spoof version of Scrooge. With Thaddeus Archer as the Bill Murray character.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, my plan is to either play Bill Cratchit.
Are you going to play the girlfriend?
I'm either going to play Bill Cratchit or I'm going to play Tiny Tim.
You need to play the girlfriend.
No, because I don't like Thaddeus that much. I like Thaddeus, but I don't like him that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
That'll be coming out soon.
That'll be coming out soon.
Follow it on-
RCW Holiday Chaos. This Saturday, we do have a matchup
that's this
signed.
past Saturday when this podcast comes out, though.
Yeah, this past Saturday, it will have been Jess and Metal versus Strife and Barricade in a tag team match.
And if you missed it, you're crazy.
If you missed it, you're crazy. There will have also been a multi-man ladder match on this show.
I don't even know what that is yet.
If you're not aware of that, it will have already happened by now, so I don't feel bad about telling
I will
you,
have
Andre.
talked about it in depth.
Yeah, no, 100%, Andre. I don't know if you're aware or not, but yes,
I know a couple matches for the show.
A multi-man ladder match has been signed for this show.
That sounds awesome.
It's gonna be pretty sweet.
You guys have been dropping like new matches every day for that show.
A women's match for the
It's already been announced.
RCW Women's Championship.
Yeah, Angelica versus Envy.
Yep, it's gonna be pretty crazy.
That was an amazing match.
The Pride of Ireland will be wrestling, of course.
Dano?
No, Pride.
Jack Pride.
He has specifically told me at the show in Calgary last month or last week. Excuse me, the hiccups are fucking with me. Anyway,
he's the Pride of Ireland.
He specifically told me to announce him as the Pride of Ireland. So,
but we already have some Irish on the show.
Oh yeah,
Son of Irish.
I wouldn't be surprised if we actually at some point have like a whole like stable of just Irish guys.
That'd be awesome.
I think it would be cool.
Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man, for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming on the show, Andre C. Like I say, I will have you on again soon. I will also be appearing on your podcast in January.
You'll be my first episode in the new year because
hopefully I don't have to talk about the masturbating midget in the garbage can.
I'm hoping that's the show, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Anyway, so yeah, stay tuned to Backbreaker Media, Total Nonstop Anarchy, Monday Night Shaw. Those are the
quick calls.
Quick calls, of course. Yes. Every once in a while, I am dragged into quick calls or offer my services up voluntarily.
You're going to offer us your services? Ugh. Yeah. I don't know if I want that.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot. We will talk to you in 2 weeks when Monday Night Shaw returns. I'm actually thinking my next guest, there's two people I really, really want to have. Whether I'm able to make this happen or not is up in the air still, but I would really like to have Son of Irish, possibly with his father on the podcast, or also alternatively Bryce the Slammer Sova.
Yeah, either one would be awesome.
I think, yeah. So with those, with some stuff about to happen on the next couple of RCW shows, I think either one of those guests would be fantastic. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, yeah, of course, I always want to have, there's guys like Pride and Cameron Stevens, Envy.
You get an entire locker room to go
There's
through
an entire locker room of people that I want to have on.
Oh, heck yeah.
It all depends on what their availability is.
Oh, yeah.
Because mine is quite open. Anyway, thank you very much again for tuning in to Monday Night Shaw this week with my guest, Andre C., the announcer for the CWE shows that have happened this last weekend.
In St. Albert.
He's also looking to take any other independent bookings he can get in.
If you need an announcer in the Edmonton area, give me a call.
Yeah,
hit me up on Twitter at that Canada guy.
Or call him up after I've already said I'm sorry I can't do your show. then you can call Andre.
You bastard. Steal bookings out from under me.
Yeah, same with What About Ivan. He can be reached after you've already tried to contact me and Andre.
Oh, that's
anyway,
great.
Love you guys. Thank you very much. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.